All right, we've got our 2021 Ian Ruggles Memorial 13.5 Superstock B main. It's Mike McBride, Dave Arnold, Jess Fensky, and James Arnold. You guys will have it on the tone in less than 5. They're off to a clean start. Minor taps out of James Arnold. McBride opens up in the lead, followed by Dave Arnold, Jess Fensky, and James Arnold. We'll see what kind of lap times they're turning now. McBride 8.3, Arnold 8.1, Fensky 8.1. There's pace behind the leader. Dave Arnold's all over the back of Mike McBride early. Top 3 drivers are separated by 7/10 of a second. It's a tight battle up front. You've got McBride, Arnold, and Fensky. Fensky's all over the back of David Arnold now, trying to get around to go after Mike McBride. Mike McBride making a slight lead there. Mike McBride in the typical Mike McBride orange and white Marlboro livery, followed by the all yellow of Dave Arnold. Jess Fensky just taps. He's got the yellow front, orange rear. He falls back to James Arnold in the all pink car. 1 minute in, 7 to go. It's McBride, Arnold, Fensky, and Arnold. 8.129 out of David Arnold. He's looking to try to catch up to Mike McBride. He's not letting him go. 8.1 out of your top 3 drivers, 8.3 out of your 4th place driver. The gap between Mike McBride and David Arnold is now 0.6 of a second. David's not looking to let Mike go. 8.3 out of McBride, 8.2 out of Arnold. He's chipping into the lead. 8.3 out of Fensky, 8.190 out of James Arnold. His hot lap of the run on lap 11. 0.7 of a second. Mike McBride stretches it a little bit, courtesy of an 8.2 to Dave Arnold's 8.4. But Dave Arnold turns around with an 8.2 to Mike McBride's 8.3 to take it back to a 0.6 of a second gap. 8.146, hot lap of the run for Mike McBride, but David Arnold had an 8.163. He didn't let him escape. 2 down, 6 to go. It's McBride, Arnold, Fensky, and Arnold. There are 2 distinct battles out here on the track. There's 0.7 of a second between first and second, 0.7 of a second between third and fourth. Jess Fensky gets a little bit of a reprieve from James Arnold. James had a tap, but Mike McBride is getting no reprieve from David Arnold. David's closing in on him. He's got the gap down to 0.4, now 4.08. They're working their way onto the straightaway. Mike McBride with a slight touch lets Dave Arnold get even closer. Dave Arnold's in a 1/10 of a second. He's all over the back of McBride, looking inside, outside for a place to go. They're coming down the straightaway together through the sweeper around the first post. Dave Arnold's looking. He's putting the nose in there. He can't get it done. He's going to back up. He's going to make another run at it. He's now 0.2 of a second behind. Mike McBride's out front. 3 in, 5 to go, and we've got a battle in the 13.5 Superstock B main between Mike McBride and Dave Arnold for the lead. Jess Fensky 3.9 seconds back in third. James Arnold another 2-3 back from Jesse. Your leaders are coming up on the back of James Arnold. That gap is 0.2 of a second. Dave Arnold's back on the tail of Mike McBride. We've got 3.5 into this one, 4.5 to go. Oh, Dave Arnold with the tap takes him a little bit wide. He taps again with James Arnold. That lets Mike McBride escape, get a little bit of cushion. We've got James Arnold stuck. He's free. Jess Fensky's around. The gap is now 0.9 of a second. Jess Fensky 4.2 back from the battle for the lead.
4 minutes left.
And they're coming down the straightaway at the halfway point. 4 in, 4 to go. It's McBride, Arnold, Fensky, and Arnold. The first Arnold, David, is back up to the back of Mike McBride. He's got 0.4 of a second. He's closing about 6 or 7 hundredths per lap. Oh, Jess Fensky with the tap. He gets it right and he's cleared. That's down to 0.3 of a second. Dave Arnold behind Mike McBride. He's hounding him. Oh, he tucks to the inside. He was in there, but he couldn't make it stick. He's all over the back of Mike McBride. David is pushing hard. There was 7 hundredths of a second last time they crossed the line. Dave Arnold running a tight line, trying to get it done. He's looking to the inside. He's going to the inside onto the straightaway. He's got that line. He had a little bobble. That's going to give Mike McBride a little bit of breathing room. We've got almost 5 minutes into this one.
3 minutes
Your
left.
leaders are working their way up on the back of traffic. Your first place car's coming on the back of you. Oh, Dave Arnold. Mike McBride lifted just a bit. Dave Arnold is there. He's not going to let him go. He's all over the back. They're coming up on the back of the third place car, Jess Fensky. They're out onto the straightaway. Dave Arnold to the inside. Less than a car length at the stripe. He's all over the back of Mike McBride, looking inside, outside. He's trying to make it stick. We've got 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Oh, and they tap. They're clean. David waits. We're still going to have a battle. Mike's off. David's there. He's got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to make it up. He's 0.4 of a second back, but he's got the pace. He's got more pace than McBride currently. Mike McBride comes by 8.5. David Arnold 8.3. He picks up 0.2 that lap. Oh, Mike McBride touches. That lets David Arnold close up even more. David, he's working his way with 2 minutes to go. It's 6 in, 2 to go. Dave Arnold all over the back of Mike McBride again. He's working. There's a heck of a battle. It may be a B main, but these two are racing like it's their life. David's sticking it to the inside. He's coming tight on the straightaway. He's making up a little bit of ground there. Oh, Mike McBride goes wide. Dave Arnold tucks in again. He's up on the back of him. 1/10 of a second between first and second with 1:30 to go. Dave with a tap lets Mike get a little bit of breathing room. Me too. McBride is out there. Dave Arnold now half a second behind Mike McBride. Jess Fensky is 6 seconds behind Dave Arnold. They're running identical lap times right now, but they are coming up on another lap car with almost 1 minute to go in this one. Dave is pushing. He is pushing hard to get it done. He's made up a little bit of ground through the infield. He's back on the back of McBride. He's got a car length. He's tucked under. Oh, they bump. He's that close. He's all over him like a cheap suit. He's coming around, working his way onto the straightaway with 45 seconds to go. It's McBride, Arnold, Fensky, and Arnold. Dave Arnold is working it. He's got 39 seconds to make it happen. He's 0.3 back. He's working his way through down the straightaway. He's got the gap. It's stabilized with 30 seconds to go at 0.3 of a second. David Arnold, he's got a lot of car. He's had a little bit more than McBride, but he hasn't been able to make the pass to get around. He's pushing hard right now. That car may have it given up. We've got 13 seconds to go. Mike McBride is coming up on the back of Jess Fensky. Dave Arnold's coming up on the back of Mike McBride. Looks like this is going to be the last time by. This is it. Do or die time for Dave Arnold. He's there. He tucks it. Oh, he tucks to the inside and couldn't make it stick. Great race, guys. Dave Arnold sticking it in there at the end, and Mike McBride making it stick and getting the win. Nice running, guys.